Ross County Football Club is a Scottish professional football club based in Dingwall, Ross-shire. He play all of their home matches at the Global Energy Stadium in Dingwall. The club currently play in the Scottish Premiership after winning promotion as champions of the First Division in the 2011 Euro 12 season. Prior to the 1994 Euro 95 season they played in the Highland Football League, a competition they won 3 times. They have also won the Scottish First Division, Second Division, Third Division and Challenge Cup twice. In 2010, they reached the Scottish Cup final. Nicknamed the Staggies, County's home colours are dark blue and white. History. The club were formed in 1929 after the previous local clubs from the North Caledonian Football League, Dingwall Victoria United, the Dingwall Victors, and Dingwall Thistle. The Dingwall Jags successfully applied for Highland Football League membership. The club was subsequently renamed Ross County. Playing in the Highland League from 1929, they won the championship on 3 occasions, first in 1967, then in 1991 and 1992. They also gained a reputation for their good performances in the early rounds of the Scottish Cup, upsetting league teams on 8 occasions. The most notable of these upsets came on January 8, 1994, they won 4-0 at Forfar Athletic, and were elected to the Scottish Football League 3 days later. At the beginning of season 1994 Euro 95 the Scottish League underwent changes in its structure, and, following a vote on January 11, 1994, County were allocated one of the 2 vacancies in the new 10-club Division 3. County gathered 57 votes, while the proposed merger to form Inverness Caledonian Thistle amassed 68. In 1998 Euro 99 they were champions of the 3rd Division and thereby won promotion to the 2nd Division, where they finished in 3rd place. This resulted in promotion to the 1st Division followed thanks to a reorganisation of the league, with the Premier League being expanded from 10 clubs to 12. After 7 seasons in the 1st Division Ross County were relegated back to the 2nd Division in 2006 Euro 07. They won the 2nd Division in 2007 Euro 08, and were promoted back to the 1st Division. Ross County finished their first season back in the 1st Division in 8th place. Their manager for a very short spell until October 2005, was former Inverness and Hearts manager John Robertson. He left the club on October 24, 2005, due to differences of opinion on a number of fundamental issues with the chairman. Gardner Spires, a former Aberdeen coach, was appointed caretaker manager, but he too left in April 2006 after being told he would not be considered for appointment on a permanent basis. Director of football George Adams took temporary charge before former Motherwell player Scott Leitch was appointed on April 18, 2006. Leitch, after winning the Challenge Cup but suffering relegation, stood down at the end of the 2006 Euro 07 season, almost exactly 1 year after his appointment. Former Partick Thistle manager Dick Campbell was announced as his replacement in May 2007. However, after a good run of results to start their Division 2 campaign, Campbell and the Ross County board decided to part company on October 2, 2007. Derek Adams took over as caretaker, and was confirmed as permanent manager a month later, after the side's good form continued. In November 2010 Derek Adams left to become Colin Calderwood's assistant at Hibernian. Former Celtic player Willie McStay was appointed as his replacement in November 2010. Although McStay's tenure was short a Euro lasting only 9 games. Jimmy Calderwood was then appointed until the end of the 2010 Euro 11 season. In May 2011 it was announced that Derek Adams was to return as manager. Ross County won their first ever nationwide trophy when they won the Scottish Challenge Cup in November 2006 on penalties with Jason Crooks scoring the deciding spot kick on his competitive debut. 2 years later County again reached the final of the Scottish Challenge Cup. He played Airdrie United at Macdy Ahmed Park. Unlike 2 years previously, County lost in a penalty shootout where 4 penalties were missed. Ross County also reached the Challenge Cup final on April 2011 in which they beat Queen of the South 2-0. On March 23, 2010 they defeated Scottish Premier League club Hibernian 2-1 in a Scottish Cup quarter-final replay at home at Victoria Park. In the semi-final, he played Celtic on Saturday 10 April 2010. Described as the biggest match in their history, they won 2-0 in Hampden Park and reached the final of the Scottish Cup for the first time in their history. More than 7,000 Ross County fans travelled to Glasgow to watch the game. In the 2010 Scottish Cup final on May 15, 2010, County lost 0-3 to Dundee United at Hampden Park. The match was watched by more than 17,000 Ross County fans. Ross County secured promotion to the Scottish Premier League on April 10, 2012 when their nearest rival to the title Dundee failed to beat Queen of the South. Due to the three events, April 10 is fondly known as Ross County Day. During this push to promotion, Ross County embarked on a 40-game undefeated run in league football, which continued into the Scottish Premier League. The run was ended by St Johnstone on September 22, 2012. The Staggies parted company with George and Derek Adams on 28 August 2014 following a poor start to the 2014 Euro 15 campaign. Players, managers, and rivalries. Managers of Ross County have included Neil Cooper and Alex Smith, and they have had players such as Mark Hartelli, John Hewitt, Brian Irvine and former Celtic player David Hanna. Their main rivals are fellow Highlanders, Inverness Caledonian Thistle, with whom they contest the Highland Derby. However, County have only finished above their rivals twice in their 19 seasons in the league. Due to the geographical proximity of the clubs and despite the rivalry, Inverness CT have signed many former Ross County players over the years, including Barry Wilson, Stuart Galabke, Roy McBain, Graham Bain, Richard Hastings, Stephen Hislop, John Rankin, Andrew Barrowman, Lionel Bizardi and Don Cowie. Many former Inverness CT players have also crossed the bridge in the opposite direction, most notably Ian Viggers, Grant Munro, Michael Fraser and Ross Tokley in recent years. Both Stuart Galabke and Andy Barrowman had 2 spells at County each, with the former also having 2 spells at ICT. Nickname: the club's nickname is the Staggies, taken from their badge which is a Coberfield, or Stag Euro unregistered trademark S-head. This in turn was taken from the regimental badge of the Seaforth Highlanders, the regiment in which many locals had fought and died during the Great War. Mascot: Ross County's mascot, due to their affiliation with the stag crest of the Seaforth Highlanders, is a stag named Roscoe, a play on the club's name. Club records: first league goal scored, William D. Head 1994 v Cowdenbeath. Record attendance, 8,000 approximately v Rangers. Record win, 11-0 v St Cuthbert Wanderers. Honours. League First Division, Champions, 2011 Euro 12. Second Division, Champions, 2007 Euro 08. Third Division, Champions, 1998 Euro 99. Highland Football League, Champions, 1966 Euro 67, 1990 Euro 91, 1991 Euro 92, runners-up, 1967 Euro 68, 1972 Euro 73. North Caledonian Football League, Champions, 1965 Euro 66, 1996 Euro 97. Cup Scottish Cup, runners-up, 2009 Euro 10. Challenge Cup, winners, 2006 Euro 07, 2010 Euro 11, runners-up, 2004 Euro 05, 2008 Euro 09. Qualifying Cup, winners, 1993 Euro 94, runners-up, 1933 Euro 34, 1965 Euro 66, 1969 Euro 70, 1972 Euro 73, 1973 Euro 74. North of Scotland Cup, winners, 1929 Euro 30, 1969 Euro 70, 1971 Euro 72, 1991 Euro 92, 2006 Euro 07. Highland League Cup, winners, 1949 Euro 50, 1968 Euro 69, 1978 Euro 79, 1987 a Euro 88, 1990 a Euro 91, 1991 a Euro 92, 1994 a Euro 95. Squad and management team. Current squad as of October 16, 2015. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Out on loan. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Development squad. Note: flags indicate national team as defined under FIFA eligibility rules. Players may hold more than one non-FIFA nationality. Managers: John Buchanan, Robert Wilson, Neil Cooper, Alex Smith, John Robertson, Gardner Spies, Scott Leitch, Dick Campbell, Derek Adams, Craig Brewster, Willie McStay, George Adams, Jimmy Calderwood, Derek Adams, Jim McIntyre. Coaching staff. References. External links: official site, unofficial Ross County fan site, unofficial Ross County fan forum.